During our family vacation, my brother-in-law took my passport and said, "You're not coming back." My brother deserves better. My husband said coldly, "She's your problem now." Alone and stranded, I opened the backup plan I'd been preparing for months. Hi. I'm Monica, 37 years old. This happened less than a year ago. I've only told 2 people in my life the full story. Now, I'm putting it here because I think some of you will understand the level of betrayal I went through. I used to be married to this guy named Darren. On paper, we looked like a stable couple, no kids, a mortgage, decent jobs, 2 dogs, regular holidays. That's how most people saw us. But behind closed doors, Darren made me feel invisible. He didn't hit me. He didn't scream. That would have been easier to name. No, Darren just slowly stopped seeing me as a human being. Conversations died. Every concern I brought up was too sensitive, or a you problem. I'd try to talk, and he'd pull out his phone. Or walk away. Or say something like, "God, you're exhausting." At first I thought it was just a phase. Stress. Work. Life. Whatever. But after years of that, I knew it wasn't going to change. Still, I stayed. Because that's what you're taught to do. Work through it. Try harder. Make it better. Then there was Adam, Darren's little brother. Adam was the type of guy people either loved or secretly hated. He worked in fitness coaching, made money off Instagram, posted shirtless workout videos, gave unsolicited advice to everyone. He always had something slick to say, especially to me. "Your hair's a little flat today, Monica." Darren's last girlfriend used to run marathons. "You still working part-time?" "That's cute." He said these things with a smile. In front of family. Sometimes Darren laughed. Sometimes he said nothing. Not once did he ever tell Adam to back off. Over time, I started saving money. Little bits. I opened a new bank account Darren didn't know about. I scanned every document that mattered, my passport, IDs, bank papers, and stored them in a secure app. I even bought a cheap Android burner and hid it in my luggage. I didn't know what I was going to do with all of that, but deep down, I felt I'd need it someday. That day came during what was supposed to be a healing trip. Darren's parents surprised the whole family with a vacation to Cancun. 2 weeks in a rented beach villa. It sounded like something out of a travel magazine. I didn't want to go at first, but Darren convinced me. "Just relax. Everyone's going. Don't start." We flew out on a Friday. The first couple days were uneventful. Sun, sand, pool drinks. Darren was distant as always. Adam was loud and smug. Darren's mom, Carol, kept making comments like, "You've gained a little weight, haven't you?" His dad, Jerry, just stayed drunk. I kept to myself. Took long walks, read on the beach, and kept track of where my things were. Especially my passport. On the 7th day, I woke up early. Something felt off immediately. My suitcase was unzipped. My pouch with the passport and backup card wasn't in its usual spot. I tore through everything. Nothing. My stomach dropped. I went out to the pool, trying to stay calm, hoping maybe Darren had moved it for some reason. He was there. So was Adam. I asked, "Did either of you touch my bag?" Darren didn't even look up. He said, "What bag?" Then Adam stood up, smiling, and pulled my passport out of his shorts pocket. "You mean this?" I froze. I felt my heart pound in my ears. "Give it to me." He smirked. "No. You're not coming back. My brother deserves better." I looked at Darren. He wasn't shocked. He wasn't even confused. He just stared at me and said, "She's your problem now." Just like that. Like I was garbage. Like this was a handoff. I stepped forward to grab my passport. Adam dropped it into the pool. It sank. I looked around. Darren's mom and sister were nearby. No one said a word. No one stood up. No one cared. That was the exact moment something inside me died. I turned and walked away. I didn't cry. Not then. I walked down to the beach, found a quiet spot under an empty cabana, and pulled the burner phone out of my shoe pouch. Turned it on. Logged into the secure app. I still had digital copies of my ID and passport. Still had access to my backup funds. I opened a ride-hailing app using a different name. Took a taxi to a small hotel I'd researched weeks earlier just in case. It wasn't nice. The shower barely worked. But it was safe. And it was mine. I stayed there for 4 nights. I filed a stolen passport report with the U.S. Embassy. Told them my things had been taken while I was swimming. Didn't mention my husband. Didn't mention Adam. They issued a temporary passport. I booked a flight out of Cancun under my maiden name. I didn't go home. I flew to Miami first. Then Asheville, North Carolina, where my cousin Jenny lived. She let me crash on her couch for a few weeks while I figured things out. That's where I started planning my revenge. And I wasn't going to play fair. From Jenny's couch in Asheville, I got to work. I didn't just want to disappear. I wanted them to feel it. The first thing I did was meet with a lawyer. I didn't want Darren to know where I was or what I was planning, so I used a legal service that helps domestic abuse victims file remotely. I showed them the texts, the emails, the photos. I explained what happened in Mexico, how he left me there, how his brother destroyed my passport, how the entire family just stood by. The lawyer's face stayed calm, but her eyes narrowed. "That's abandonment," she said. "It's also coercion. You've got a strong case." We filed for divorce in North Carolina, citing abandonment, mental cruelty, and intentional emotional harm. She also suggested a restraining order. I agreed. But the real twist? Darren didn't know yet. I had her serve the paperwork to his workplace. He worked at a mid-sized tech company in Richmond, Virginia. He was a project manager. Pretty good salary, company phone, company laptop. I used to handle some of our household bills, so I knew all the financial accounts. I knew the passwords. And I knew exactly what he was hiding. While married, Darren had been secretly converting his bonus money into cryptocurrency. On the surface, it looked like normal savings. But when I pulled the records, I found nearly $47,000 in crypto transactions, money he never told me about. I screenshot everything and sent it to my lawyer. "Oh, and by the way," I said, "he used a work laptop to manage all of it. He also watched porn on company time." She raised her eyebrows. "You sure?" 100%. See, I'd backed up his browser history before I left. Paranoid, maybe. But after years of being treated like I was crazy, I learned to collect receipts. Meanwhile, I kept my location hidden. I used a P.O. box. Changed my phone number. Removed myself from all shared apps. I even took our 2 dogs and had my cousin temporarily foster them with her neighbor so Darren couldn't track their vet visits. 3 weeks after I filed, he started blowing up my old phone, texts, emails, voicemails. The tone shifted fast. First, he was angry. "What the hell are you doing? Grow up, Monica. This is childish." Then it turned to panic. "Let's talk. You don't have to do this. Just come home." I never replied. But I did contact his HR department. I sent them a secure, anonymous message with attached screenshots of the crypto logs, the explicit sites, and the exact timestamps during his work hours. I didn't have to say much. They responded within a day. 2 days later, I got a message from a mutual friend: Darren got fired. That same day, Adam emailed me. Yes, Adam. The same smug bastard who threw my passport in the pool. His message was short and pathetic. "Monica, I didn't mean for things to go that far. Darren was venting to me for months. I thought maybe if you stayed behind for a while, things would cool off. I didn't know you'd disappear. That scared a lot of people. Can you at least respond?" I stared at the screen for a long time. Not out of confusion, out of pure disgust. This man didn't see me as a person. He saw me as a problem that needed to be handled. Just like Darren. I didn't respond. Instead, I printed the email. Saved it. Just like I saved every smug comment, every receipt, every little piece of the mess they built. Then I made my next move. I posted. Not on Reddit. Not on Twitter. On Facebook. But only to a private group I was part of, mostly women. Women who shared stories about emotional abuse, gaslighting, family trauma. I wrote out the story. I didn't use their last names. I didn't even mention the city. I just laid out the facts, that I was left stranded in a foreign country by my husband and his brother, who coordinated it. That my passport was stolen. That they laughed as it sank to the bottom of the pool. That I rebuilt from scratch, alone. It got over 1,200 reactions in 2 days. What I didn't know was that someone in that group was friends with Adam's latest girlfriend, well, former girlfriend. She saw the post. Connected the dots. She dumped him publicly. Then someone else from the group sent the post to a local wellness company in Virginia that Adam had just signed a brand partnership with. That partnership ended, too. And I was still just getting started. I thought things would calm down once Adam lost that sponsorship, but what I didn't expect was how fast their whole family started to unravel. About a week after Adam got dropped, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. I didn't answer. A voicemail popped up a minute later. It was Darren's mom. Her voice was cold. Tight. Monica. This has gone far enough. We took you into our family. You are making this into a public circus. Darren is devastated. Adam made a mistake, but you've always been overly sensitive. If you have any class left, you'll stop whatever you're doing before someone gets hurt. That voicemail lit something in me. I wasn't making a circus. I wasn't too sensitive. I was finally telling the truth after years of being silenced. So I sent the voicemail, uncut, to my lawyer. She added it to the case file. Then I made a burner Facebook account. I joined a few Richmond neighborhood groups where people talked about local businesses, gyms, and coaches. Guess who was a known name in all of them? Adam. He was running a side business as a private trainer and wellness coach. He had a whole better yourself through discipline mantra. He used client testimonials. Had a slick website. Pushed supplements. So I posted in one of the groups under the burner account, has anyone had an issue with Adam C. recently? Asking because I had a disturbing experience during a group trip he was part of. He's very different from his online image. Just curious if anyone else has stories. Within a day, the post blew up. People shared stories. A few women said he was pushy during training. One person said he flirted constantly even though she told him to stop. Someone else said he tried to charge them double and refused to refund. No one knew what I knew, but I didn't even need to say it. His image was already cracking. I just gave people permission to look closer. But here's where it really got wild. One of Darren's old coworkers, someone I barely knew, reached out to me through a mutual contact. He said, I know this is weird, but I heard what happened with you and Darren. Just want you to know, he's not telling people the truth. He's saying you abandoned him in Mexico. He said you had a breakdown and ran off. My jaw clenched. I should have expected it. The gaslighting wasn't just behind closed doors anymore, it was public now. So I pushed harder. I sent a letter to Darren's former employer. Official, from my lawyer. It included documentation of his fake narrative, the screenshots of what actually happened, and a statement asking them to forward it to their legal department in case he tried to sue for wrongful termination. I didn't want them to think they fired a man for nothing. I wanted them to know they'd dodged a lawsuit bullet. Then I turned to his finances. Remember the crypto stash? My lawyer subpoenaed the trading platform. We were able to trace $47,000 of unreported funds, money Darren never disclosed in the divorce paperwork. That's illegal. He got slapped with a court order to amend his disclosures and hand over half the hidden amount or face charges. He complied. I got a check for $23,500. I used it to put a down payment on a small condo in Asheville. My name only. No ties to him. No memories. No shadows. But I wasn't done. The final twist before the end came unexpectedly, from Darren's own sister, Mia. She DM'd me. Said she was sorry. Said she wasn't proud of what happened. That she stayed quiet in Mexico because she was afraid of causing a scene. I didn't reply. A day later, she messaged again, they're turning on each other now. Adam blames Darren for the fallout. Darren blames Mom for covering it up. Dad's drinking more. Darren moved back into their basement. Just thought you'd want to know. No. I didn't need to know. But yeah, it felt good. Really good. It's funny how when people like Darren and Adam lose control, they go into full survival mode. They don't think about what they did. They think about how it affects them. After Mia's message, I stayed quiet for a while. I had what I needed. The divorce was finalized. I had my new place. Darren had no job, no house, no money that wasn't court-monitored. Adam's business was falling apart. But something still didn't feel finished. They had wrecked years of my life and almost left me stranded in another country like I was nothing. And they still tried to flip the story when it blew up in their faces. So I decided to take everything I'd been through and make it count, for other women. I started a blog. Not under my name. Just a simple, anonymous site, Wife Left Behind. I told my story in pieces. I changed names. I kept the facts real. And I opened it up for others to send in their stories too. I figured maybe 5 or 10 people would read it. Instead, it blew up. Within 3 months, I had over 80,000 readers. Women wrote in every day with stories that sounded just like mine, smug husbands, cruel in-laws, golden boy brothers, all hiding their abuse behind a clean image. I linked up with a few women who worked in domestic law and women's shelters. We started sharing resources. Hosting Zoom calls. Creating checklists for women trying to escape emotionally abusive marriages. And guess who found out? Adam. He knew it was me. He tried to threaten legal action, even though the blog never used his name. He sent a cease and desist letter. I sent it straight to my lawyer. She laughed. He'd have to admit to being the guy in the story to prove it's about him. And if he does that, he admits to a felony, stealing your passport. We never heard from his lawyer again. But the part that really shut it all down? That came 6 months later. One of Adam's old clients. Let's call her Tasha, read my blog. She reached out and said, I think Adam was coaching one of the girls in my gym, and then sleeping with her. She was 19. He was 33. I don't have proof, but he bragged about it once. I told her to sit tight. Tasha didn't just sit tight. She went to the gym's owner, who happened to be strict about policies. Turns out Adam never officially reported he was offering private sessions. He was using their space without paying rent and never disclosed private training. He got banned. Again. He tried starting over online. New coaching packages, a podcast, even a TikTok. But by then, women were already sharing screenshots. Reviews started appearing with things like, is this the guy who left his brother's wife in Mexico? Or ask him about Cancun. And Aaron? He started emailing again. First polite. Then desperate. Please, Monica. Let's talk. I've been in therapy. I didn't know how bad things were. I wasn't in my right mind. I let my family cloud my judgment. Please. I finally replied. 3 words. You were right. He answered, right about what? I said, when you said I was someone else's problem. Now I'm no one's problem. And you're exactly where you belong. Then I blocked him for good. The last twist? This part surprised even me. One day, I got a message from Mia again. She said her mom had a stroke. Carol. The one who told me I should have class and stop making things public, was in a nursing home now. Darren and Adam were both living back home, fighting over her care. Jerry was still drinking. Their house, the one I used to visit for every Christmas and Easter, had turned into a miserable, rotting nest of bitterness and blame. Mia said, "I'm sorry again. I should have spoken up. I hope you're happy now." And honestly? Yeah. I am. Because I didn't just escape. I didn't just survive. I made sure that the people who tried to break me had to live in the wreckage of what they built. They said I wasn't coming back. And they were right. But not because I got left behind. Because I rose so far above them, they'll never see me again.